Hello everyone, welcome back to another interesting video on Deepcodr. In this video, let's deploy the React application to the production with the help of the GitHub Actions. In the previous video, we have seen how to deploy React application to the production in S3 bucket by uploading files manually to the S3 bucket. So in this video, let's automate this process of uploading React files to the S3 bucket with the help of the GitHub action. If you haven't watched the previous video, I recommend watching that video first to understand this video. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So let's go to the editor and start the project. As we have seen in the previous video, it is the same project that we are going to deploy again. So the project has two routes. One is a home page and another one is a coffee route that will show the list of the coffee around the world. So that is our project that we are going to deploy on the S3 bucket. So let's stop the project. The first thing that we are going to do is create a workflow for the GitHub Actions. So let's create a .github folder inside our project directory. So let's add a new folder with the name .github, and inside this folder let's add workflows folder. Inside the workflows folder we will create a new script for the GitHub action. Let's give it a name as react hello world prod.yaml. So generally the GitHub action script uses YAML format. So the first thing inside this file we will add is the name of the workflow. So we will give the name and let's give it a value as build and upload the files to the S3. The next thing is the run name for the workflow. Let's give it a value as build and upload the files to the S3. The next thing will be the action that will trigger the workflow. So we will specify on with the value as push. This will enable to trigger the workflow once we push the changes to the branch. Now we will add the jobs to our workflow. So let's give the name to the job build and upload. Now we will configure some environment variables that will be used by our script, which will upload the files to the S3 bucket. For uploading files to the S3 bucket, I have created a script that will use AWS SDK to copy the files from the build folder to the S3 bucket. I will provide the link for this file in the description below. So before that, you can use the same script for your workflow. Let's copy the S3 upload.js file to our source folder. So we have AWS options where we have two environment variables, AWS access key ID and AWS access key. You can get these values from the AWS console. Then we have a build folder path. This will be the path of our build folder after building the project. Then we have any/s3 client. Then we have closing to iterate over the directory of our build folder. This will generate all the file paths for the files inside the build folder. Then we will iterate over each file path to upload that file to the S3 bucket. Inside the config, we will give the name of our S3 bucket, which is Deepcodr React Hello World. And we have a function upload that will upload the files to the S3 bucket, and it will print uploaded file name and the location of that file in the S3 bucket. So that's it. That is the script that we are using for our deployment. Now we have to add two environment variables in our environment options. So the first environment variable will be AWS access key ID. So let's add AWS access key ID and we will fetch its value from the secrets for our repository. So we'll specify secrets.AWS access key ID. The next variable that we will add is AWS access key. So let's add AWS access key, and for this one also we will fetch the value from the secrets of the repository. So that's it for the environment variables. Now we will specify the runner on which the workflow will run. So the runner we are going to use is Ubuntu latest. Now we will specify the steps for our job. So the first step will use checkout script provided by the GitHub Actions. So we'll add action/checkout@repo. The second thing that we will use is node setup provided by the GitHub Actions. This will set up node on our runner. So we'll specify the node version as 20 for this build. Then we will specify the next step, which will be installing the node modules. So this will run npm install. This will install all the packages required by our project. Now we will add next step, which will be running the build script. So this will run the command npm run build. This will generate the production build files for our project. Finally, we will add the command to upload the files to the S3 bucket. So this will run the script that we have added earlier, which is s3upload.js. So we have added all the steps for our deployment and we are ready to deploy the application to the S3 bucket. Now let's go to the S3 bucket and let's view our link for the static website. If you don't know how to create the bucket for the static website hosting, you can watch my previous video which will show how to configure the bucket for the static website hosting. So we got 4.4, that means our website doesn't have any files yet. So before we go further, let's add secrets in our repository. We will go inside the settings tabs under the secrets and variables for the actions. So we will add the new repository secret. The first secret that we will add is AWS Access Key ID. So the name of the secret will be AWS Access Key ID. So let's add AWS Access Key ID. After giving the name, copy and paste the value for the AWS Access Key ID in place of the secret. And then we will add secret. Let's create another new repository secret with the name AWS Access Key. This time, copy the value of the AWS Access Key and paste it in the place of the secret. And that's it. We have added 2 secrets for our workflow. And that's it. Before pushing the changes to the repository, let's install packages required by our S3 upload script. So we will install AWS SDK, clausing, MIME types, and / in our project. Once this is done, we can push the changes to the repository. So let's add the changes to our repository. That's it. Let's git push. And we can see that our files got pushed to the repository. On the repository page, let's go to the Actions tab. Our workflow has been started. And we can see it has started to install the node modules. Let's wait for it to complete and let's see if it uploads the file to the S3 bucket. Okay, now it has started to build the project for the production. And we can see that our files got uploaded to the S3 bucket. And we got the uploaded file name with the path to the S3 bucket. And we can see that our workflow has been ran successfully. Let's go to the S3 bucket and refresh the objects to see if we got the objects on our S3 bucket. And we can see that our objects has been uploaded successfully. We have got our index.html file. Now from the properties, let's go to the static website URL. Let's go to the home page. And yes, we got the output. So we have successfully deployed our application to the production with the help of the GitHub Actions by automating the process of uploading the files to the S3. Now let's update some files and let's check if our workflow is running correctly. So we will update the home page like hello, welcome to the React Hello World. And let's push the changes to the repository. Okay, now let's go back to the repository and see if our next workflow has been started. And yes, it has been started. So it will run all the steps again. And it will upload the build folder files to the S3 bucket. And that's it, our workflow is successful. Now let's go back to the S3 bucket and refresh the objects. And we can see that we got our latest objects to the bucket. Let's refresh the page, and yes, we got the output with the updated changes. So that is how you configure GitHub Action pipeline to deploy applications to the production. So that's it for this video. You can configure more options in this workflow for performing more actions. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do subscribe and share my videos. I will see you in the another interesting video or tutorial. Till then, keep deploying.